Hey now, what's up, people? It's Wednesday, 17th of November, and yeah, I'm looking rough because I'm just at home. Just at home. Thought I'd just come on and see if I could riff for a second about something I woke up thinking about, posted about it online, see if I can say anything worthwhile here, and then I'll mention what I'm listening to. Um, so, get my white balance together when I do that right quick. To start off, I'll start off with music. What I decided to start my day with today was this wonderful album by Master Haruomi Hosono. I've mentioned him many times, one of my favorites. This is his 1989 album, Omni Sightseeing. And the graphics really fit the album. It's just wonderful. It really is wonderful. And that's how I started my day. But I can't remember what got me started on this, but I decided to post for the sake of I knew somebody needed to hear this. Is that I don't walk on eggshells regarding communicating with others, and I don't encourage it. I learned a long time ago that walking on eggshells, you know what I mean when I say that term, that you choose your words carefully, and there's a lot of anxiety about what you're saying to a person. It doesn't work, it's not healthy, and I don't recommend it. And when you're in a relationship or in a situation where you feel it necessary to not be honest and walk on eggshells, I say it's like take a look at what's going on there. What's the situation? What's the relationship? What's happening with you? Um, I think it's important information because we're living in a time where increasingly people appear to not be handling differences of opinion and differences in general very well. It seems that people, and again, besides what I'm experiencing personally in interactions, it's also what I see being reflected by the general tone of the media, which again sets the tone of the day of daily life. And people are very disingenuous. You see lots of examples of people saying what they think they're supposed to say, or people being manipulative, saying what they think that if I say this, then I'll get that, or just downright lying. And all of that to me is just really, well, again, I think it's very timely because again, we're in a time where misinformation and disinformation are rampant, and the value of pursuing those avenues for personal gain have, well, it's out in the open. Well, if I'm in a position where what I say, I have enough power or I have enough say that I can say something is something with no proof of it, and yet because I say it, then it's like everyone's running off to the races with that information. So that has a bit to do with the thought of sharing this, because it also goes back to my old work, where this is what I was about, which was trying to share and teach skills so people could manage their mental illness and life better. Communication is a big one of them. Sad to say that these skills that I was teaching are not used. They're not even used by people who are supposed to use them, or you would think authority figures and people in positions of great responsibility. I at one time would have liked to think that these people would be more responsible and use these skills and show use of these of wise mind, but it's not the case. You know, it's all about agendas. You know, it's not about doing the right thing. So it's up to us as individuals to do the right things by ourselves. So that's why I share this, and it really it's very powerful because it really takes the sting out of negative communication coming from others. It completely blows the game of what's the name? That's that term, gaslighting. It completely, you know, when you're in a wise mind frame of mind and you're not allowing others to compromise you, gaslighting doesn't work. It really exposes the motivation of the speaker, the one aiming it at you. That's another thing that this knowledge is helpful. It helps to clarify, especially in person-to-person interactions, what's really going on. Who's being mature, who's actually communicating as opposed to someone maybe attacking or or trying to just be manipulative instead of straight. So that's what I wanted to just talk about for a minute is don't walk on eggshells for people. Say what you mean. Say what you know. And if people misunderstand you or misinterpret you and you get a chance to straighten that out, then do it, because I do it. You know, people will get a little bit of information and go running off to the races thinking they know the whole story. And when I encounter that with myself, I say, oh no. You know, especially when people say, well, I thought, well, you said so-and-so, so I figured, well, you figured, but you're not me. And just because I said something, does that make you an expert of me all of a sudden? Hell the fuck no. And yet this happens all the time. And I see people just like get tripped up by it. It's like, come on, don't you see it? You're letting someone else's thoughts become hard reality just because they said it to you? Know what's going on with you from the inside. This is important, people. I know it's helpful. It helps me in this still very topsy-turvy, upside-down, very racist and very sexist and very just strange world. So this information helps me. So I know it can help some of y'all. Only other things that I will show right quick because they're sitting here before I go is Italian-based band The Trip from the 70s, keyboard, Time of Change. I had always just wanted to own these. I don't think this is very good, honestly. I think it's got a couple of really great dynamic music passages and then there are these long periods of just boring. But I'm glad to have it in my collection. Frith, cheaper at half the price. One of his solo albums that I just never took the time to really get close to because of the way it starts. Frith has a sense of humor, but there's always something serious underneath it. So this is really good, and it's very topical, and it's interesting how old the album is, but everything that he's commenting on is truer now than it was then, and it's very socially aware. Frith is an amazing musician. And then just an old 90s, is this 90s, I think? Just always liked this, 1990. This song, probably a Robbery by Renegade Soundwave. I remember when they first came out how technology was still developing with sampling and stuff, and how supposedly, and I don't know if this was them being disingenuous, but there was talk about how they could hardly do live gigs because it was so complicated to set up their system for sampling and playing live. Obviously that's not the case now, but this is really good, and I like most of their stuff. I have their albums. Renegade Soundwave. Okay. Talk to me about your thoughts about what I'm talking about here, which is the idea that we really don't, no one is an expert on life. So when others try to step to you thinking like they know better than you and they should be telling you what you should do, and you know inherently inside that that's not right, then stand up to it. I know if I hadn't started doing that when I was younger, I would be in much worse shape because I dealt with it. I still, deal with it. Like I said, people thinking they get two pieces of information and then they think they've read the whole book about you, and it's like, no, don't stand for that. Okay? Take care.